Hello and welcome to the final video for our course. I have been sitting at home. This is my kid's spring break, and since the last video, I think I've taken my son to the ER where he broke his wrist playing soccer, and just helped him clean up a bee sting. So it's been a little crazy around here, but that's great about having this class online, so I can be a little more flexible with working from home. So now I'm taking a break from working and enjoying this beautiful weather outside. And I hope that you'll be able to enjoy it too as you plug through the Dreamweaver and this class, and hopefully you can get everything done and turn it in early so you can go out and enjoy this weather in Boone. So this week I will have my final office hour on Monday, April 24th at Harper Hall, Adjunct Office 160 from 1 to 2. And I'd really like to see you and talk to you, especially if we haven't met yet, or your site is not up on the server, or if you're facing any technical issues or just have any questions. If you can't meet during that time, I will email out that sign-up sheet again so you can meet with me virtually on either Google Hangout or on Zoom. So either way is fine. Just specify which way you prefer to meet with me on that sign-up sheet and let me know if you do sign up so that we can talk about it. So again, this is really important, especially if we haven't met yet and you don't have your site up on the server yet. So please schedule a time to talk to me about that so we can get that going. So Module 9, you've got the last day for all late work is Tuesday, April 25th. So make sure you get everything in, and that's really important so that you can now really focus on those 3 final projects. Everything else, all the homework assignments, is really just to gear up towards this last module. So you really need to get all that stuff just done with and turn it in. And everything that you've learned so far is really the goal is so that you can utilize all those skills, all those tools added to your tool belt now. You can pull them out now for your final projects. And I'm going to be showing you some examples from student work on the course page, and I want to show you some examples of how you might implement these tools onto your final project sites. Before I do that, I want to point you to the direction of the course evaluations. That is located directly on your course page, and you should have also received an email. Don't forget to do that. We are transitioned now, instead of the paper evaluations, to go ahead and do those online via the course evaluation. So don't forget to do that before the end of the course for all of your classes, including this one. So for our final sites, the first project is the ePortfolio, which is due on May 2nd. And just as a reminder, don't do all of these final sites one after the other. So you really should be starting now, kind of get some groundwork done on all of the sites at the same time, and then progressively work up to complete each one. But I don't want you to try to do them all the same week that they are due on that last week. The ePortfolio, you need to include, and I'm just going to show you an example of one that I've got up here, a title. So it could be a simple title such as K Bishop Design Portfolio. Then I've got a subtitle there and a logo. And then you want a navigation. It doesn't have to be a nav bar, but you can have a traditional nav bar on the top and in that sort of format. Here I've kind of created mine as hotspots, and I have 6 navigation elements that take you to another page on my site. And on each of these pages, you can go back to the home page. So you need to have that back to link on all of the pages in your site. You are required to include a resume. Now that may be as part of your web page. You can have an entire web page that is linked to your resume, or I have on this one, it's linked to a Google Doc with my resume linked there, or you could have it published in Adobe as an Adobe Doc. So there are different ways you can handle that. And then you're also required to have a gallery. Now the gallery needs to include at least 10 pieces of your work, and they don't all have to be from this class. They can be from other classes or from personal work. And it doesn't all have to be on one page. So the gallery does not necessarily need to be all 10 on one page. For example, I have a graphic design page with some links to other samples, but then I also have about 8 samples in this gallery on this page here. And if I go back to my home page, I might click on photography and see some photography samples. I've got links to other web pages, but then I also have, and the gallery could be a scrolling kind of gallery. I've got 3 photos there and then 3 black and white ones, or 3 additional photos. Sorry, they're not all black and white, and then a couple more images below. So the gallery can be formatted in different ways. And then you could also have them all on one page if you like to, if you want to do it in a grid. You also need to include a form. So I'm jumping over now from the ePortfolio over to a professional site. So this is my professional site for Nomad Cookie Co. And if I click on Contact Us, you can see there's a contact form. So that can look different, or depending on how you want to format it. And then you need to include that on your ePortfolio also, have a page with a contact form on it. So if someone wants to contact you, they can fill out their name and provide an email and so forth. And then I also want to go back to our course page and jump to Module 8, because this is what is due this week on Tuesday. Be sure to go to Discussion 5, read the online articles and comment on those. Be sure to cite your findings from those readings, and then comment on your peers as well. And then for the homework, you want to create a link on your index page to some graphics that you will use on your responsive redesign. So I've got some example here. So here's my page of graphics. These are graphics I created for the professional site. I've got some buttons, I've got the logo. You may have a more complicated logo that you want to simplify for the responsive site and change to a one color. And so you can include all those different versions on the single web page, and then you can see how it changed to my responsive site. So let me go back to the Nomad Cookie Co. original site, and then you can see in the responsive site, I took away the banner. The title is formatted differently, and it's responsive so that if I squish it down to the mobile size, it will work better responsively than the original site. So you need to do some redesign, and that doesn't have to be for the professional site. It could be for your ePortfolio. You'll have the same content and images, but it'll be reformatted and redesigned responsively, and you may make some subtle changes with the text formatting and the logo, and possibly the images too. Okay, so what are some other ways, some other tools that you can use for those final sites? And I want to point to some of the tools we learned early on, going back to the animated GIF. How could you use an animated GIF on your final sites? There's lots of different ways you could use that. And just want to show you, for example, Maddie had an animated GIF of some images on campus. And maybe she wants to create an About Me page on her ePortfolio, just talking about being a student at App State, and she may include an animated GIF of the campus on that page. Another way you might want to use that is, let's say Emma has an About Me page and she wants to use this girl with the headphone animated GIF on her About Me page instead of a photo of herself. For a professional site, maybe Casey's doing a site for a music band and wants to create an animated GIF of part of the concert from the band on their homepage. So those are some different examples. I think there was another one looking for here for Emily Scott the Hedgehog, and maybe she's designing a professional site for an animal clinic, and this would be appropriate to use for that site. Another tool that we have used is the image map. That would be a very useful tool to use on any of your final sites. And for the image map, I want to show you some student samples. Here is one. I believe this is Amanda's, and you can see that hers is labeled, titled here called image map, so it's very easy to find. And she may want to use something like this on her ePortfolio, where you can click on samples of digital imaging or some other artwork that she's got. And so this could also be used for a gallery, using hotspots for a gallery. Fritz has an image map on his index page where you can click on a personal portfolio with samples of his photography. So this takes you to another site. Or you can click on class portfolio to go to his kind of index for this class. This one is Dylan's, and let's say he's designing a professional site for a travel agency, and so you might want to do some more layout and design here, but you could click on the bridge to find out about tours to the Brooklyn Bridge, and so forth, with directions here on how to navigate the hotspots. Back to the course page, we can also take a look at the jQuery and see some different ways we can use a jQuery on an ePortfolio. Here, Summer has used it really as a gallery to showcase some of her photos. You want to make sure that they're collapsible, so you can collapse this tab when you want to go on to the next one. You could create a gallery with an accordion using a jQuery that way. And then Allie here has some tech tools and techniques on her drawing process with her jQuery accordion, where you can click on step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. And see hers collapse nicely here. Here is Emma's jQuery page, and this would be really useful, say if she were designing a professional site for a pet store and she's got some information on goldfish that you can click on each tab to find out the answer to these questions. And you could also use it for some other kind of company with a question and answer format. So Emma has got some great stuff going on, and she is using a different server rather than the App State. So she'd be a great person to go to for any technical help or design help as well. And then last of all, as we go into our final projects, I want to take a look at Zach's portfolio that's coming along here. And what he has done is he's basically redesigned and reformatted his index page for the class to be his ePortfolio. And that is fine if you want to do that. You can create a navigation using links. He's still working on this, but maybe this is an introduction page. then his resume page. He's got a contact page that will have a form on it, and then a jQuery with appropriate jQuery. Maybe it'll be a gallery of his work, and then any other links. So keep in mind that on your ePortfolio, you need to have at least 4 navigation links. So 4 additional pages plus your home page, and all those additional pages need to link back to your home page or your index page. You want to also include a footer. That's one of the requirements. Go back to my portfolio page and you can see what I'm talking about here with the footer of copyright, maybe with your name, an email, or a link to AppState. And I'm going to jump into Dreamweaver so you can see how to create that copyright symbol in Dreamweaver. Here's the code. You just need the ampersand, copy, and the semicolon, followed by the text that's going to follow that copyright. So if you want to include that in the footer, that's how you can do that. And then for your professional site, you also need to include the home page with the title and logo, and 4 additional pages that link back to the home page. And then you also need to have a jQuery and a form and the appropriate graphics on the professional site. And don't forget your ePortfolio, you need to include an animated GIF. That is a requirement, a form, a gallery, and a resume. For the responsive redesign, you can either redesign your ePortfolio or the professional site, and that also needs to include the home page with title and logo, 4 additional pages that link back to the home page, the reformatted graphics from your assignment in Module 8, and that will be it. And then you will be done with those 3 sites. Your professional site will be with your partner or partners. Make sure that when you submit that each person in your group submits the entire site. So you want to include that link onto your index or home page so that everything is linked for me to easily access on your index page. I'm sure you still have some questions as you get going on these projects, so feel free to touch base with me and get in contact with me as you go along, and I look forward to seeing the progress and then your final sites in Module 9.